So it feels like the natural order of things is coming back into place, and I'm taking my rightful place back in the NFL picking world. Another solid to good week last week in Week 10. 11-3 picking winners, 8-6 versus the spread. So for the season, for picking winners straight up, I'm 89-58 versus the spread, I'm 80-65. Not the best you're going to see, but surely you'll probably see worse and a lot worse. And based off of that stretch of a few weeks where I was really scuffling and struggling, now it feels like I'm starting to pick it up a little bit and starting to figure it out, which means I'll probably crap the bed this week. Maybe not. We'll see. But let's go ahead and get through the picks for Week 11 of this 2017 NFL season. The Thursday night matchup, you had the Steelers favored -7. To me, there was no way the Steelers weren't going to win that game by more than 7. Gave me the Steelers -7, and they won 40-17. Mariota had a bad night. The Steelers had a really good night. And to me, more and more, the Steelers are looking like the team to threaten the Patriots in the AFC. And they may potentially be better than the Patriots. I know blasphemy out there, I mean to say. But anyways, so starting off the week on a good note, let's see if that translates to the rest of the weekend or not. The early Sunday games. You got the Lions favored by 2, traveling into Chicago. Give me the Lions -2. The Bears are a bad team. Stafford usually can beat bad teams. So give me Detroit -2. Jacksonville's 9-point favorites heading into Cleveland. Give me Jacksonville all day -9. Baltimore heads to Green Bay as 1-point favorites, which really surprises me because you could say, well, the Packers are a much different team without Aaron Rodgers, and clearly that is true. But you are talking about a Green Bay team that just won this past Sunday over the Bears, a team with a decent defense. Brett Hundley had some decent moments in that game. And while the Ravens' defense is all right, their offense and Joe Flacco have been absolutely horrendous this year. They've been bad. So I was really surprised to see that Green Bay were 1-point underdogs. I know it's not a big spread anyways. But in this case, I feel like maybe the Packers got a little bit of momentum from last week's game. I'm going to take Green Bay +1 to beat the Ravens on Sunday. What feels like kind of a quasi-toilet bowl matchup is potentially Ryan Fitzpatrick versus Jay Cutler. Ooh, Tampa Bay versus Miami. Give me that Miami love -0.5 point. I'm going to go with Jay. What the hell, why not? Your marquee matchup of the early Sunday games has to be the Rams at 7-2 traveling to Minnesota to take on the 7-2 Vikings. This is a monster game. This has major potential playoff implications in terms of first-round bye, home field advantage, and one of these teams is going to feel really, really good about themselves after this game because they're going to be sitting at 8-2 and have just beaten a quality opponent. Whether it's the Rams or the Vikings, it doesn't matter. This is a big game with playoff implications, seeding implications, and all of that. When I look at this matchup, I feel like the Vikings are the more balanced, more complete team at this point. They play better defense, and I think when you factor in offense and like in the entirety of the body of the team, while the Rams have been spectacular offensively, defensively less so, even though Aaron Donald is a beast, give me the Vikings -1. I think the Vikings will hold serve at home. Washington travels to New Orleans to take on the hot as anybody in the NFL New Orleans Saints. Sean Payton and Drew Brees, that running game, that defense, they're doing work in New Orleans this year. New Orleans is favored by 9, and I'm not surprised. Washington's still beat up on both sides of the ball, especially up front. I like New Orleans to win this game, but I will say this. The Redskins pulled within 8 of the Vikings last week. The week before that, they beat the Seahawks. I like Washington to keep it close, so I think Washington could cover that 9-point spread. Kansas City travels to New York to take on the Giants. Kansas City's favored by 11, which seems like a lot, but the Giants are an absolute mess. I do wonder, though, if the Giants can keep it a little closer because for the Chiefs, I feel like 11 points is a lot. Maybe they'd win by like 8 or 9. I don't know about 11. Because, again, their defense is not that great. So they might struggle to stop guys like Evan Engram and Sterling Shepard. So I do think the Chiefs will win, but I will take the Giants to cover the 11-point spread. Arizona goes to Houston to take on the Fighting Tom Savages and what little fight they have. Houston's favored by a point, and frankly, I don't know why. I would rather take Drew Stanton. Yeah, it's that bad. Give me Arizona +1 to win. The later Sunday games, you've got Buffalo traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. Buffalo Bills pulled the trigger at the quarterback position. They're going with Nathan Peterman this weekend, a rookie in his first start on the road. Seems like an interesting choice of decisions here. Give me the Chargers minus 4.5. Cincinnati travels to Denver to take on the now also equally woeful Broncos. I guess I'll take Denver minus the 2.5. New England travels to Oakland to take on the Raiders in a game that you would have looked before the season and thought this was going to have all types of marquee appeal. It was going to be teams with a similar record, teams battling it out for first-round bye, teams battling it out for potentially home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and none of that shit has materialized. The Patriots are the Patriots, and they are where you would expect them to be, but the Raiders have been largely a massive disappointment this year. And I've seen nothing that indicates to me that the Raiders can beat the Patriots on Sunday. I'll take the Patriots, and I'll take them minus the 7. The Sunday night game, you've got the 8-1 Philadelphia Eagles coming off of their bye, going into Dallas to take on the Cowboys. The Cowboys, again, will not have Ezekiel Elliott. You look at this matchup, the Eagles are favored by 4. A lot of momentum going their way. Dallas kind of seems to be heading in the wrong trajectory, especially if they don't stay committed to the running game. The one thing that concerns me a little bit for Philadelphia is it wasn't the best time to have their bye. Like, you kind of wish their bye for them was earlier on in the year, because now they got so much momentum and they were playing with such a great rhythm and all facets of the team were really hitting, and now you miss a week. And does that interrupt their rhythm and their timing? And now they've got to go into Dallas. And, it's one of these things. The Eagles on Sunday could really, for all intents and purposes, seal the division by beating the Cowboys, hanging a 5th loss on the Cowboys. If they do that, it's over. And even now, frankly, it might be over because the Eagles might not lose more than 4 games, and the Cowboys are surely destined to lose at least another one at some point in time. So that divisional race is over. And as a result, the Eagles have a lot to play for. They really, really do. So do the Cowboys, though. For no other real reason than just because nobody else will probably do it, other than like the most raging of Cowboys marks, I will take the Cowboys plus the 4 here. A little bit of a surprise. Probably you would say the upset of the week if that happened. Then the Monday night game, you got Atlanta coming off of their dominant victory over Dallas at home, traveling into Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Be interesting to see what type of day Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu have outside without Richard Sherman in the fold. I do like the Seahawks in this game, though. It's only 2.5 points. Yeah, give me Seahawks minus 2.5. So, we'll see what happens with this week's picks. Again, as always, you're welcome to give me your picks in the comments below. Let me know where you stand for the season. I'm feeling better about this season now. I had a few solid weeks, and hopefully the momentum keeps on rolling. What's up?